the Donald Brown Center. Those of you who've never been here before, make sure you take the time to go out back and don't get real close to the cliff. But get close enough so you can appreciate the view. If you've never seen Port Deposit from this angle, it's a beautiful sight, and you can look down toward Perryville and Hagerty. Indeed, this is a gem of the state of Maryland and the University of Maryland, Baltimore. And if you're wondering what happens at this site on a daily basis now, the dental school that we were able to have located here in Cecil County, down in Perryville, their students stay here while they're doing their rotations. And if you've not been down to the dental clinic, I encourage you to do that as well. But their students stay here while they're on rotation, as well as this is leased out and rented out to various groups that use it, not only privately but publicly as well. So they'll never just walk around. They did bake cookies for us, but they did not bake 40 cookies. I don't think there's 40 in there, so if you're hungry, you better get there early. But we do have coffee, Nelson. I know just for you, I have coffee, and in the other room as well as some iced tea. So again, welcome. The decision to host this meeting this morning was made after a ton of questions were asked of me, or comments were made to me about what Plan Maryland was, what Plan Maryland isn't, or total confusion. And I thought the best thing to do was to have the folks who know the answers come and visit Cecil County so that we can discuss it. So that when you leave this room today, you've heard from the folks who are involved in it on a daily basis, and we can get our questions answered. It is not a session where the secretary is going to spend a long, long time lecturing and talking. He's going to try to answer questions. So that is the purpose of the meeting, is because the rumor mill out there may be correct, it may not be correct, but what's important is that when you leave here today, you have as much information so that we can move forward on further conversations, but at least know what the truth is and where the plan is going. This is not something new. The Plan Maryland project has been going on for a period of time, but now a lot of discussions taking place, and that's the purpose of today's meeting. Do not leave this room and say, I didn't get the answer, have my questions answered. We're going to get questions answered. All right? So, before we start, I always like to go around the room so we know who's here. So please tell us your name and please representing.
Good morning. My name is Rich Josephson. I'm with the Maryland Department of Planning. I'm the Director of Planning Services there.
My name is Peter Conrad. I'm with Maryland Department of Planning and I head up the Local Government Assistance Unit.
I'm Bob McKnight, Mayor Northeast.
Betsy Bennett, Mayor Northeast. Mary Ann Spalding, Planner for Perryville.
Jim Everhart, Mayor Perryville.
Carl Roberts with the Main Bridge Development Corporation.
Donna Tapper, with the Main Bridge Development Corporation.
Nelson Bollinger, Main Bridge Development Corporation.
Terry Moore, Cecil County Commissioner.
Elmer Falciani, Cecil County Patriots.
Robert Hodge, Cecil County Commissioner.
Rufus Mazzetti, just a citizen.
Jared Leonard, Mayor of Cecilton.
Jean Bennett, Algonquin.
Mike Bradford, WL Warren Associates, Economic Development.
Cheryl Maddox, Cecil Rig.
Mike Burcham, McCartan Incorporated.
Tim Weedy, Cecil County Department of Public Works.
Tony Jockler, Cecil County Zoning.
Eric Sandstrom, Cecil County Planning and Zoning.
Al Wine, County Administrator.
Joyce Bowlesby, Cecil County Chamber of Commerce, and also the Economic Development Commission.
Valerie Conley, Maryland Farm Bureau.
Brandon Trails, Stewart Commons.
Christina Zepp, Cecil County.
Vernon Thompson, Cecil County Economic Development.
Gail Charles.
Wayne Stone, Mayor Board Deposit. Mike Dunn, Cecil County Commissioner.
John Yoakum, Maryland Department of Planning.
Jim Norton, President of Cecil County Commissioner.
Rich Hall, getting ready to go to dental school, so I can do a rotation. And with the Maryland Department of Planning.
Tremendous turnout. I want to thank you for taking the time. And truthfully, this meeting, working with the secretary, we were having a conversation about when to have it. We decided to have it sooner as compared to later, and for you to make time on right before the holiday is greatly appreciated. We thought we'd have the meeting now as compared to later in July, and the rumors just keep on going and the unanswered questions. So that's the reason why it was held in a timely fashion to try to get the answers. Secretary Hall and I go back a long ways. He does a great job as our state Secretary of Planning, and I really want to thank him for taking the time to come up and bring his staff with him that can answer the questions. And I'd like to turn the meeting over to Secretary Hall.
Thank you, and thank you, Del, for setting this up, and for you all for taking the time to leave your schedule to come out today on a beautiful day when it's probably better to be outside than inside. But I just want to mention a couple things, kind of cut to the chase, and a couple issues I think have gotten people concerned, and then drill down as much as any of you want to on issues. Some of them will probably be unresolved, won't be answered yet, but can tell you where we're heading on them. Others, I'm hopeful that we can sort of nail right off the bat. So let me just mention what Plan Maryland is, the core of this thing, because I've been in the agency for 19 years now. Before that, I worked for planning across the river there in Hartford County. But in the 19 years I've been at the Maryland Department of Planning, I had a penny for every time someone said we're out to take over local land use authority. I'd be a millionaire. I'd probably buy this nice place and live here. That gets thrown out there. We're the big boogeyman often when it comes to these kind of very, very tough issues that manifest themselves at the municipal level, at the county level, regionally, at statewide, and go on from there. And so Maryland has a long history of having a lot of programs that relate directly and indirectly to whatever you want to call it: smart growth, sustainable growth, land use planning. Doesn't matter, I don't care what you call it. We've had a number of programs for many years, decades, across many state agencies. We're a relatively small agency, especially at the state level, and we work with a number of sister agencies: economic development, transportation, environment, housing, natural resources. I could go on. And so we have all these programs across a number of state agencies, and again, some directly are tagged linked to smart growth, some indirectly affect smart growth. But we've never had anything, not even an outline, a game plan, a strategy, a playbook that tries to pull together these programs and make them recognize each other and figure out where we're heading together within the state government with existing programs. So it's mostly about, this plan is mostly about coordinating existing state programs that relate to growth. It doesn't give us any authority we don't already have at the state level, doesn't create any new programs. What you see in this draft is our work to work with sister agencies and stakeholders who've gone around the state over the course of 3 years, getting input on how our growth policies are working, how they're not working, and trying to put them together to move forward effectively and efficiently in the future, again, with existing state programs. That's what this document's about. And we want to go beyond what existing state programs do. Obviously, we need to do a bill, go through the General Assembly, and that whole thing, which is what happens from time to time regardless of this plan. So I think that is probably one of the most important things to communicate to you all today. The other thing I want to mention, and this was just a straight up honest mistake in the map, but I think in the text of the document we articulated, is very close to here, Bainbridge, which is an enterprise zone, was supposed to be on this concept we have called growth print, which are simply put, I think it's putting a finer point on the already established growth areas that you all at the local government have, and what we look at the state level is potentially subsets of the priority funding areas. They're sometimes called smart growth areas, and they've been in place since 1997, and for the most part they correspond to municipalities and counties' growth areas. And so what we've done is realizing that it's usually a subset of local government's growth areas that where development activity is most wanted and most active, that we would highlight those. And the way we did that initially is to use existing mapped state programs that relate to redevelopment and revitalization utilization, because again, those are existing programs with how to get the ball rolling, and those are enterprise zones, those are designated neighborhoods, community legacy areas, and several others, state designated transit-oriented development sites. And so we started with those, and I think what happens when we get the details of, in the case of Bainbridge, we were looking at some overlays and whether we want to have a couple features overlay or not to a mapping process, and we decided to just have if you were in any of those programs, you would be mapped as a growth print area. Bainbridge is left off, so that was just a straight up mapping mistake. The text of the plan talks about all those areas I mentioned being part of this initial growth print area. And I think we could elaborate. It's ironic that we left it off because we've worked with the county in recent years and the town of Port Deposit to help move things along to the extent that anyone can. It's a tough lift on the Port Deposit from PFA changes, find funding area for that. Water and sewer plan changes with our sister agencies, the MDP, working with the county, working with the town. So we immediately lost Bainbridge. We're going to fix that. So those are a couple of key things, again, I wanted to get out and open right off the bat. I think they probably address at least most of what I was hearing. A couple of the other things, the plan's been out since late April. They can comment until September 1, and then we're going to submit this plan to the governor again to talk about how we state level better coordinate across the agencies, and then use that as a game plan playbook to interact with local governments to go the next steps into an implementation phase, sort of hear other areas they'd like to see big growth print, and talk about how we move forward with some of the other aspects of the plan. So I'll pause then there unless Rich or Peter have anything else you want to add, and just hear questions, comments, criticisms, praise, especially the latter, and just take it from there. I think it's more important to hear from you instead of me droning on for a long time about everything and out what's in here.
What we're going to do is, about the staff want to say, add anything to the remarks from the secretary. I'm going to give you a chance. But when we start questions, you're going to get my attention somehow, and I'll call on you, as compared to just yelling out the questions. So if you want to ask the questions, we'll try to get every question answered. But let's just don't start shouting. Just get my attention, and I'll put my glasses on to make sure I can see all the way in the back. In case Rupert wants to ask a question, but before we do so, staff.
I just want to reinforce what Secretary Hall said about this being a policy plan. It's not a regulatory document. When the governor accepts it in October, it will require that we do a lot more over the coming 1 or 2 years to work with other agencies to kind of get them to be working from the same page, and also begin working very closely with local governments. And we really intended, and we want to reinforce and communicate that this is a collaborative process. This is not state saying this is where things are going to happen. We want to recognize the efforts that have been already made in local comprehensive plans and see how the state can help through working with other agencies to actually implement. We look at this as a way to enable local growth areas to actually grow and to develop and to help in those areas where preservation is important. So we really intend to be a collaborative process with municipalities and with counties.
And just to add about the process, I mean, I'm sure you're all aware we've had what we termed open houses, and those have now been completed. But our schedules are quickly filling up with lots of meetings like this. And I appreciate your comments at the beginning, Delegate, about the openness and not wanting to leave with additional questions. But you may walk away and wish that you'd asked another question. But this is not a one-off meeting, I think, for you all in Cecil. Don't think of it that way. If you have organizations that you want us to come back to and talk in more detail about how this plan can work and help you meet your goals, I mean, that's really the idea behind our actions this summer. I mean, we have an open comment period, but we really want to help you be able to make the most constructive comments by, meeting with us if necessary, talking over the phone, whatever. So, we have an open book in terms of meeting and scheduling additional sessions like this.
All right, so we'll entertain questions, and I thought it's all
Well, first, I'd like to thank you, Secretary Hall, and your staff. I'm with the BDC, the Big Ridge Development Corporation, and your staff have been very cooperative and helpful over the last, I'd say, 3 weeks or so since this is